Evening. This is at 10. I've lost count. The famous Mamiya RB67. That's a camera that was the lifeblood of many a studio in the 70s and 80s due to its rather novel 6:7 format and its superb glass on the front. These cameras, we're going to rush through this. These cameras were modular. There you go. That's the lens off. How to dismantle them. The waist level viewfinder is now off. You could get different viewfinders for them. You could get pentaprism viewfinders, you get metered viewfinders, you get all sorts of weird and wonderful things. Focus screens, you can get different focus screens for them. Film comes in a detachable magazine complete with dark slides. You can change mid-roll. Formats, I think 6:9, although that might have been custom, was the largest, down to 6:45. I've certainly seen some people have even adapted them for 35mm. Seems a bit pointless. They're called RBs. RB stands for revolving back. Don't quite know what RZ stands for. And that's the revolving bit on the back. And if I do that, you can see it revolve. Right. And that's the camera itself. And that in there, you might be able to see it. On the other hand, you might not, because there's something shiny in there. That's the reflex mirror, which is huge. It's absolutely massive lump of glass. And we can put it together. Can we put it back together as quickly as it came apart? Someone timing me on this. Somebody ought to be timing me. Somebody time me. Go on. Wind back the video and start again and put a stopwatch on. So that says 23. I wonder what that means. And it probably came out of a studio somewhere. And time me putting back together an RB67. That's the back on. And that's the lens on. And we're ready to go. Right, I do remember saying I was going to show you the film loading on these because it's different to the TLRs. The way the film runs through the camera is different. So I'm going to just zoom in a little bit, which is a quick edit. Back comes off like so. And we can then open it. And there's the film insert. This is a film I developed, the backing paper of a film I developed this morning. So I took this one out and did a bit of street photography with it yesterday, which is, oh, you can't possibly do that with an RB67? Yes, you can. Note that the film is on the black side. That's the black side. You go out. And it goes round. That's the first roller. Automatically seems to be going in the wrong direction, doesn't it? Second roller is there, and the film, the outside of the film folds around that roller. It is very cleverly designed so that no part of the film touches anything other than its own backing paper. And please do catch you. Yeah, he's getting a bit fed up with this because this is, I don't know how many times I've done this now. It's quite a few. It needs to go in that slot. And the problem is, of course, it's winding back up. It goes against the curl of the paper and it will be winding back on itself when I can get it in there. And normally this is the easy bit. There we go. And it, as I say, it winds back on itself. I brutalise it in by finger. And there we go. Watch for the big arrows that we saw in the TLR loading film. It's rather worrying. I've gone straight past them. There's an arrow down there I'm glad this isn't a real film. There's an arrow down there which lines up with the arrow on the film. That arrow, which is now, I don't know how that got past without me seeing it, and you can't wind it back. I can't be bothered to take it out. But it does mean that the film is always, and there's the tape you see that was holding the film onto the backing paper from when there was a film on it. I'm going to put this all back together now to show you the interlocks. And this is the bit I do find fiddly. I can never, always try to put them right every way but the right one, and there's a lot of wow, that went together a bit easy. And it locks on there and it locks on there. And I'm going to put cable release in because I want to do a little trick. The shutter release is actually a knob there. So we can just put a cable release in that. And I now have to prove that I do have some money, even if not very much these days. And it's going to get less as time goes on. That's cocked. This needs to be wound on, otherwise it won't work. There are interlocks all over this camera so that you can't misuse it unless you really want to, in which case you can start turning the interlocks off. And I balance a pound coin there and watch it roll off. Take a dark slide out. There's another interlock there, stops that. There we are. Balance a pound coin on there. Can't hold them, they've got to be on a tripod, you know, because otherwise they wobble about, and it's that big mirror. They didn't fall off. And now we're going to do it again. And I'm going to do it this way. If I can get the pound coins to stay there without actually rolling off. I was wondering why it was in earlier. Bench must be collapsing. There we are. Interlock saying you haven't wound the film on. It just caused the coin to roll off. On a good horizontal bench, which this one isn't, the bench slopes and bends because it's quite lightly built, you can do that with a penny. What else can we say about the RB67? Bellows focusing. It will focus from here down to there. Full extension of the bellows. It'll focus to about 6 inches. There's a compensation factor that you have to apply for your exposure, but we'll do that on. We'll do a video on exposure, but that's all maths and calculators and things, so not now. I bought this one pretty much as you see it here. In fact, exactly as you see it here, minus the rather nice cable release. This bit is exactly as you see it. It's a lens, viewfinder, waist level viewfinder, body, revolving back, and film magazine. I bought it about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was ridiculously cheap. It was barely £400. It was just under £400. £399 or something. They're getting cheaper. They are superb cameras. They take really, really good photos, and ambidextrous focus knob on either side with lock. The lock's only on one side, but they're becoming cheap. The lenses are superb. The ability to take bitingly sharp images is amazing. The only downside is that on a single roll of 120 film you will only get 10 exposures, and if you're running colour, portrait or worse still slide film through it, that gets very expensive very quickly, but it does teach you to be careful. Right, I'm going to leave this now and we're going to look at some pictures from it, and we'll see you again next time with probably some silly lighting or another Japanese camera. Take care now.